This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
The Hidden Killers Podcast.
With Tony Brueski.
Dr. John Delatore is with us for this segment. Let's talk Murdaugh for just a few minutes here. He obviously confessed to lying now when he initially claimed that his dogs tripped Gloria Statterfield in their home in 2018, causing her to slip and fall. She died from the head injury sustained on the fall in their property. In new documents filed on May 11th, Murdaugh admitted that he invented Miss Satterfield's purported statement that the dogs caused her to fall to force his insurers to make the settlement payments. And now the insurer coming back going, okay, you owe us that money now because you shouldn't have gotten it. It almost on the surface seems like he's trying to inflict more pain on the Satterfield family, because it's initially been suggested that, well, they got the money, they should pay it back, when in fact they didn't get the money. The funds that they collected, according to their attorney, Eric Bland, came from other settlements, not that specific one. What the hell is going on here? And that's been the question, I think, most of the time with Alex Murdaugh. But if you can put on your Murdaugh examination hat for a moment and try to figure out, is this someone who's behind bars trying to manipulate people and try to cause further pain?
I think Murdaugh doesn't really care, right? And what I mean by that is I don't think he's like antisocial or psychopath. I don't think he's any of those things. What I think is that he truly believes that he's doing the right thing for the right reasons. I think he recognizes the wrongfulness of them, but for some reason, this idea of a moral righteousness that he has somehow kind of pervaded and corrupted every decision that he makes. Mm-hmm. I think he thinks that he's doing the right thing. I don't think that he's purposefully doing this maliciously, as difficult of a sentence as that is to say, and a difficult sentence as it is to hear. What I think, though, is that I think he's trying to maneuver in his own best interest, but not thinking through how other people are going to respond to his maneuvering.
Mm-hmm. Should this even be taken seriously, I guess, is the other big question, because he's a known liar. He's a convicted murderer. He still has not admitted to that. Should any statement that he makes, period, be given any weight whatsoever?
I don't think so, but I think, no, number one, no, I don't think so. But number two, I think some of this also has to do with, because he lied, the insurance company can feel, not that insurance companies feel, but they can believe that because they were duped, that they're somehow entitled to something, mm-hmm. some kind of recompense or something like that. It's once again, Alex Murdaugh is only doing what he thinks is best for him, and mm-hmm. not thinking through the consequences of what's going to be happening, so that these people, whoever is making these decisions outside of Alex Murdaugh, these people now have to respond. Mm-hmm. Right? Because not responding can be looked at poorly by their higher ups or society or community. So now everybody is stuck with this idea that here's this guy saying all this stuff. Now we have to do something about it, because if we don't do anything about it, and this is the one time that he's telling us the truth, oh my God. So now there's all different kinds of consequences that's going on. I think everybody would just rather he not speak and just do his time quietly, mm-hmm. than whatever it is that he thinks he's doing.
Could this be just him acting out as well, because he's not necessarily in the giant spotlight anymore? Certainly he will be for quite some time, and little spotlights here and there on these other cases, but his trial for murdering his family has come and gone. Is this someone who just cannot not have the attention on him and the spotlight on him as a person in a very narcissistic sort of way?
It's certainly possible. I do think that there's probably a bit of a wounded ego that is involved, in particular because he, as he says that he didn't kill them, but a jury of his peers has decided otherwise. But I do think that there could be a bruising of the ego. There's not really anything to suggest that he's someone that likes the spotlight. In fact, it's quite the opposite. He's done everything that he could to kind of keep it a secret, using his name as leverage to keep it a secret. Mm-hmm. So he's not someone that's flamboyant and flashy. He's someone that's trying to keep up with the Joneses. So I do think it's a little bit of acting out. I'm not entirely convinced that it's something about him needing the spotlight back on him, because it's not on him anymore.
Let's talk about the responsibility that comes into play with the people that are representing him, like Jim Griffin. The attorneys for Satterfield, Eric Bland, made a statement, and attorneys are going to make big statements that sound, really tough. It really only means a whole lot when it comes from the judge, but calling on the attorneys for Murdaugh to be sanctioned for basically enabling this type of behavior, which they view as rather ridiculous and re-victimizing the families. Is there a point in this where either Griffin's got to go to the judge and say, I don't want him as my client anymore, I can't work with him, or is this something where he's just going to keep holding on as the Titanic continues to sink?
I think there are some attorneys that definitely would continue to hold on as the Titanic continues to sink. But yes, I think any attorney that is sort of aware of what is going on will do what they can to get off this case as fast as they can. I wouldn't be surprised that once one attorney gets off, right? Once one attorney is able to get removed from the case, you're going to see a long stream of attorneys get attached and then withdraw, attach and withdraw. It just takes that first domino to get off. And it's certainly possible that the attorneys that he has now are willing to go as far as they can, even walking up to the line. And I can understand why some people think that they've crossed the line, but until the bar says otherwise, we have to think that they've been doing everything as zealous advocates for their client.
What is the advantage of having Alex Murdaugh as your client at this point?
Well, for them, it's for sure a spotlight. Mm-hmm. For the attorneys, it's definitely going to be a spotlight. For the attorneys, it's definitely something that you can cash your name on. Attorneys' win-loss record, I think that only really matters for like the prosecution, right? I think, if you're a prosecutor and you have like a 95% conviction rate, I think that's important. But I don't know that defense attorneys really have a win-loss record that impacts their cases. I think for most people, I think most people think that the state always wins. And I think most people think that, oh, hey, my attorney was on, national television. I'm going to stick with that person. So I think it definitely is more marketing and more attention for defense attorneys than it would be for, let's say, a prosecutor.
Very much in the vein of any publicity is good publicity.
Definitely.
This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast
with Tony Brueski.
Thank you so much for your insight, Dr. John Delatore, licensed psychologist. His website, resolutionfcs.com. Hey, if you'd like to listen to the show with no commercials, we offer that for you on Apple Podcasts. When you become a premium subscriber, you get this show and all of our true crime shows in there to binge away on all you want with no ads. Do check that out. Even try it for 3 days free. Until next time, I'm Tony Brueski. Stay with us.